Good afternoon and welcome to our Christmas Food Club. Before we go over to Anita and Chris, I wanted to say a quick thank you to Stonebridge Farm for donating the fresh fruit and veg, and also to Norseman Cheese who have donated some of their cheese. We hope you enjoyed the first of our Christmas Food Club sessions, and over to Anita and Chris.
Hello, Merry Christmas everyone.
Happy Christmas.
Right, I'll pass you over to the chef.
Can I go around that side?
You can go around that side and I'll turn it around.
I go around this side then.
Oh no, I didn't need to do that.
What are you doing?
I've just, oh no, sorry. Sorry, I lost you. I need to change the camera angle, that's what I need to do. There you go.
Am I on camera now?
Yeah, you're on camera now.
Right, Christmas Food Club. I know other people are doing really Christmassy meals, and when I sat down to think of this, I struggled to think of Christmassy things that weren't really complicated or that would take hours and hours to do. So I thought two very simple dishes can either be done for Christmas Eve supper because they're quick and easy and you've probably got lots to do Christmas Eve, or after Christmas if you've got ingredients hanging around, if you've got broccoli kicking around, if you've got Stilton kicking it around, and you've eaten half a ton of turkey and you fancy a light lunch or a light supper, I thought we'd do these two because they make a great meal. I love them both, and they are incredibly quick and easy. I reckon start to finish, we can probably get both done in 30 minutes. So we'll start off with Stilton and broccoli soup. I know everybody doesn't necessarily love broccoli, and everybody doesn't necessarily love Stilton. I do. I think they go brilliantly together. Give it a try if you've never tried it, because it's very quick and easy to make. Unless you've got a real aversion to Stilton, in which case you're probably not watching this if you see what the recipe is. So we're going to start off with an onion. Onion needs to be a small one. I've got a big one, so I'm just going to do half of it. And if you've seen me doing any of these before, you'll have seen me doing the onion chopping thing. If not, I'll go over it very quickly one more time. So you cut your onion in half on a flat surface, take the end off, make sure you've got a nice sharp knife. Peel the brown skin back. You've got something to hold it all together. Keep your fingers out of the way of the blade. If you put a nice flat surface there, the blade won't cut your fingers off. And then you just kind of incise through the onion, not all the way, leave a little bit down towards the root, so that it all stays stuck together. And you turn it around, and you just go back the other way. Very easy, with a nice sharp knife. And then you just lay it down halfway through, starts to get a bit more tricky. So, to your onion. Then take a big pot or a big saucepan, possibly the biggest one you've got. That's the size pot I'm using, holds a good few litres. Take a chunk of butter. I think it says 2 teaspoons in the recipe, but don't need to be too accurate. Get that on. Don't put it on too high, because if you do, you'll burn the butter and then everything will taste bitter. So we'll let that melt down in the pan. Meanwhile, over your excuse me, I've got my 800 ml of chicken stock pre-prepared. And I'm now going to cut up the broccoli. The nice thing about this recipe is if you've got broccoli left over, it uses it all. It uses the florets, it uses the stalk, it uses the whole thing. And again, you don't have to be too delicate with the broccoli. You just want to kind of cut it up, but separate the stem from the florets. Just kind of get in there at the top and go around in a kind of a circle. The reason we do that is because they're going to take different lengths of time to cook. That take a lot longer to cook than that. And if you put them in for the same length of time, these just turn to mush. And although you're going to be liquidising it all in the end anyway, I still think it's a nicer flavour if it's not mush. So take the stem, and then however you feel comfortable, just kind of cut it up into thin chunks. That way it will take a lot less time to cook. Doesn't have to be neat, it doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be chopped up. Do the same for that one. So you should have about 800 grams of broccoli in total. Same with that, take off the florets, which we will deal with later. And I can hear in the background the butter starting to melt, which is great. Try don't burn it like I told you not to. Once the butter's melted and is frothing, stick in your onion. Like so. A little stir, keep it on a lowish heat, low to medium heat. All you're really looking to do is soften the onion down in that butter. It'll take a couple of 3 minutes. Don't want to brown the onion. Not looking to fry it off, just soften it down. While that's softening, we'll prep the rest of the broccoli stalk. So broccoli stalk all cut up. Okay, there, get it off the board. This broccoli stalk, probably in everything. Then with the florets, basically just cut them up. Again, no particular way of doing it, no special way of doing it. Just get them all cut up so they're, you can see, reasonably small. Broccoli cooks quite quickly, so they don't have to be that small. And they kind of naturally fall apart anyway when you've taken the stalk off. This is why I say it's such an easy recipe, because it's no faffing around. You don't have to be particularly precise, you don't have to be delicate with it, you just a bit like Jamie Oliver, you know, smash it all up, chuck it in, kick it all together. With the Christmas hat and the Christmas music, to make up for the fact they're not necessarily Christmassy recipes. I'll do the advice for you. Right, chop that onion. Okay, so the onions soften down a bit. Probably start to brown. We're going to do something with it fairly shortly. What did I tell you to do next? We will add our stalks, like so. Give them a little bit of mix round. Mixed up with the onion and the butter. And then we're just going to let that cook for about a minute. Doesn't need to be very long again, because it's really about simmering in the stock and milk. I said 800 ml of chicken stock, 600 ml of milk. Don't necessarily need to be too worried about the quantities, as long as they're in kind of the right ballpark. Yeah, so So that's a little bit of time just sauteing in the butter. Have the stock on what goes in.
That's really all I want. I'm ready to find as I possibly can.
Then we're going to measure out our milk, 600 ml of milk.
Three wise men that came across the desert and got involved. Let's go to the church. Every morning. If I don't buy it for myself, it's amazing. I mean, let's look what you got there. I'm not going to wear that. I'm not going to put it in my closet. I'm going to throw it away.
We got 629, slightly over. Really massive. So we'll add that in as well. I just want to bring that up to simmering temperature. So that's a brilliant way of using up your leftover bird carcass or anything of that nature. I don't know what you're having for Christmas, if you're having turkey, or chicken, or duck, or whatever. You get real value out of it. Soup, it's a great idea. You just use a carcass. So if you want to do that, come Christmas and you've got sick of the turkey sandwiches, you've pulled everything you can off the carcass, and you've got a big turkey body. What you need to do is do a trivet. It's called a trivet, which is carrots, onion, leeks if you've got them, kind of diced up, like we did with the onion here. Cook that off in a bit of butter. Before that, you can either then, there's two ways of doing it. The way I do it is to make a stock out of the turkey carcass first. So in a big pan, I will cut up the turkey carcass so that it fits, pour lots of water over the top of it, nearly to the top of the pan, add a few little veggies in, carrot, half an onion, leek, put all that in. If you've got star anise, I know it's not common, I always have it in the house, I have huge bags of that stuff. But it's wonderful when you're putting it into stock. So I'll always put a couple of those in, a dozen peppercorns, and then just put that on a really low simmer for about 6 hours. Steam all your windows up, you'll have condensation everywhere unless you've got a really good extractor fan. But just leave it very gently steaming, not rolling boil, really gentle simmer. After about 6 hours, when it starts to smell good, turn it off. Take the main bit out of it, so you've just got liquid in there. Let it cool. When it's cooled, skim off any fat you get on the top settling. That's your turkey stock. So then go back to the bit with the trivet, which is all your vegetables cut up and cooked off in butter. You then add turkey stock to that. Basically, you've got soup. Very simple, very tasty. You can obviously, you can take it on a bit further than that. You can add a few potatoes in, cook the potatoes until they're soft to give it a bit of thickness. Then blitz it all up. You'll have a really good party soup. And if you've got any bits of turkey left over, chop them up, stick them in the top as well. You've got turkey soup. A few recipes in one. So this one we're just still waiting for it to come up to simmering point. Oh, it's being slow. So while we're waiting for that to do its thing, we'll make a start on the mackerel. Smoked mackerel pate. I love smoked mackerel. I love smoked mackerel pate. It's one of my favourites. It always gets made at Christmas around here, and it's just delicious. Good fresh French bread or toast, or the kind of the park baked rolls you can get from Sainsbury's, or any other supermarket. You just shove in the oven for 10 minutes. They come out nice and hot. That with soup and smoked mackerel pate. No, not everybody likes smoked mackerel. Actually, I know Liz doesn't like smoked mackerel.
Oh, doesn't she?
No, it's just.
Oh, sorry, Liz.
But you can substitute it for someone else if you want. Smoked trout, smoked salmon if you're feeling extravagant. I like mackerel because it just balances really nicely, and the smoked mackerel's cheap. If you are doing a different fish, just do it by taste. Really, that's all this is. I mean, you've got quantities there because they give you roughly the right flavour, but it all depends on what you like. If you like it more mackerel-y, put less cheese in. If you like slightly less cheese, mackerel-y flavour, put more cheese in. The same goes for the lemon and the horseradish. If you like it a bit hotter, put more horseradish in. So anyway, I'm just shut up for 5 minutes. Right, what I've done, as explained, is just skin smoked mackerel fillet. You don't want the skin in it. It's very easy. Get it by the tail, just be gentle with it. And you should, near enough, be gentle with it, just be able to take the whole thing off. Don't worry about it. What you can do to the end doesn't really matter. Whichever's easiest. Just comes off very easily. Just get the remains of that skin off. And then all you do is you flake it up into a bowl. So just get your fingers in there, flake it up with your fingers. That at the same time has the added advantage of enabling you to feel if there are any little bones in there. Shouldn't be in a fillet, but you know, you occasionally get little bones in there. Won't really do you any harm if they do get eaten, but it's nicer if they're not in there. So you just do that with 3 fillets. Doesn't have to be particularly fine. Quite like chunky pate with nice bits of mackerel in there. Just kind of pull it apart, flake it up like that. If you don't like mackerel, this is a bit you won't like because you'll end up smelling a mackerel for days. There you go. If you don't like mackerel, you presume you're not going to do this. Broccoli's all right, it's not up to simmering yet, so we'll just carry on with flicking the mackerel. And if anybody fancies slightly alternative Christmas songs from the norm, and you haven't heard of him, give Bob Rivers a listen.
Is that what we're listening to now?
That's what we're listening to. It's the alternative Christmas album.
Yeah,
Old favourites done in a new way. Listen to it first before you let children listen.
I was going to say some of them are slightly X-rated, but as we're talking over it,
especially if they're young
probably,
children.
yeah. But gives us a chuckle over the Christmas dinner, doesn't it?
Right, we're simmering now.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. Sorry, I'm trying to talk too much. Right, so this needs to simmer probably for about 10 minutes. So it's on a reasonable simmer, not a particularly gentle one. When I get those stalks cooked, don't need to be too delicate with them. Now they're simmering, we'll go back to mackerel. I did and ah about doing Christmas side dishes and that sort of thing instead. That other one, everybody's got their own particular side dishes that they like or they have at Christmas. Plus they're more labour intensive than they would have taken. And it all depends what you're eating. You don't necessarily want to have the same side dishes that you do in turkeys, you do beef or pork or I don't know, vegetarian alternatives, nut roast, or you're doing fish or whatever. So I steer clear of that option.
These are good holiday staples, these, aren't they?
And they can both be prepared in advance. They will both freeze down very well. To make mackerel pate freezes beautifully. Still comes out with a good texture. Don't refreeze it if you've frozen it and you've defrosted it, but if you make it and there's lots left and you're not going to eat it all, you can freeze it down, get it out another time. Likewise, the Stilton soup will freeze down perfectly well. So you can either make it in advance or save up any extra you've got thereafter. This is the only really labour-intensive bit.
You should get the kids to do this bit. Sometimes.
Before they were teenagers. But we're nearly there. And as I say, you've got the broccoli soup simmering, so you got time on your hands. Nearly there. Last little bit. Good. And then you just run your fingers through it very gently again to make sure. Can't feel any obvious bones in there. And that's pretty good. I didn't feel any bones as I was shredding them up. So get huge pieces and give them another going over. Right, so that's your mackerel prepped. Rolled down so everything doesn't taste of mackerel. Okay. Keep an eye on your broccoli. What we're looking for the stalks really is that basically. So we want to be able to put a knife into the stalks very easily. That's getting there, a couple more minutes and they'll be ready. In the meantime, cream cheese. The recipe says, I think 150 grams. That's 220, so there's more in there than I need. And again, if you like it really mackerel-y, you might only want to put 100 grams in. If you're not sure, start slow, mix it up, taste as you go. So I'll put about half of that in, I'll mix that up. And give it a taste while you're going and stop when it gets to where you like it. This isn't baking, this is not science. Good. Really good.
You can do this in the food processor if you want to, can't you? If you want to slightly smoother.
If you like a really smooth pate. A bit more. Also helps make it go a bit further if you put more cheese in. My kids is always a bonus. Anyone? Now, if you're feeling really clever, you can find the damn stuff. Sure, grated horseradish. It's delicious in this. across it, but horseradish is basically a root, kind of like a parsnip. Ginger. And if you can find that grated into here with a bit of double cream added, but it is really tricky to get hold of.
You're going to want a spoon, aren't you?
For
Horseradish.
I've got a spoon.
Oh, have you? Oh, sorry. Oh, you've got one already. Sorry. Didn't see that.
So then just add your lemon juice to that once you've got the mix of mackerel and cheese to your liking. Again, start slow because you can't take it out. Right, sorry, at this point, we're going to change stations again.
Sorry.
Over to the soup. Right, that stalk, it's going quite easily now. So what we're going to do then, add all those florets to it.
Sorry. I like this song. This is one of my favourites. She's a bit naughty, but it's funny.
So your florets in there. Give them a good stir. And we're going to prep the Stilton. Stilton here. And keep a little bit back to garnish your soup with. So we will just take the nose off it. And then just kind of slice it thinly. It should crumble fairly naturally without you having to do too much to it. Till you get to the rindy bit. Get that all slice up. And I'm going to put the rind in as well.
Not that big.
Not that bit. Right, so that's a bit we're saving. That can all go in here.
Yeah, the dog can eat Stilton. She's having a good go.
Stuff on the floor to her to get it all with. Right, again, just stir it all around. Melt in. Going to put that on to simmer. About 5 minutes again.
Hi, Chris and Anita. I've had a question. So Lisa's just emailed to say that she's waiting for the stalks to soften, but it's very yellow on the surface with the butter. Is that okay?
Oh, well, that's absolutely fine. That's a good sign. It means you've got lots of butter in there. It'll all get mixed in together. Just that if you've got lots of butter in there, the fat in the butter rises to the top. We're going to be liquidizing it all later down the line, so it'll all get mixed in. Lots of butter in there, it'll be nice and rich and delicious. Cooking down. So it's nearly up to simmering point now. So once that's up to simmering point, now turn it down a bit. Goes on a gentle simmer. Pop a lid on. We'll leave that alone for 5 minutes. All right, finish smoked mackerel pate. I'm going to add another lemon because I like mine sharp. Put a bit of kick to it. Just with an oily fish. I'm just going to add another lemon.
Half a lemon, just.
Lemon.
So do you want people adding 2 lemons?
They can add 2 lemons if they listen to me start with. Let's do it bit by bit and taste it as you go to be able to do it. Mix that in. And horseradish. Depending on how much you like horseradish, be as generous or as mean as you like. I quite like horseradish. I like it with a bit of kick, so I've got a couple of spoons in there. And if you're not sure, start with half a spoon, go from there, taste it, and add more if you like it. So, mix it all in.
It's making me hungry.
Bit of pepper. Fresh ground black pepper. That's lovely too. You shouldn't need to salt it. Personal taste, but you shouldn't really need to. If you think it needs it, add it, but most of the time it's all right. Delicious, even with so much.
Oh. Oh yeah. Now it's Christmas. That's
So there we go.
delicious.
Smoked mackerel pate. And then you can obviously put it in a nicer bowl and make it look pretty and put a slice of lemon on the top and that kind of thing. But that's your basic pate. That with fresh French bread or part-baked rolls out of the oven, as I said earlier, just delicious.
Yum yum. Or on toast for breakfast.
No, no, just for breakfast.
Oh, you've taken my hat off. Oh, you're using the liquidizer. Oh no, you're wearing it, aren't you?
I'm wearing it.
Oh yeah, I'd
This is
forgotten.
something I had to. And yes, I will be using the liquidizer. We'll have a look at this and see how it's getting on. A lovely smell of Stilton coming out of there. Just see how the little florets are getting on. Just going back to what Lisa said earlier, if you look here, you can see we've got little patches of yellow that have risen to the top from the butter as well. Absolutely nothing to worry about. I could do with a little bit longer just to soften up some more.
Sorry.
On that.
we put a lid on it?
I was thinking very rude response then.
Okay.
Good human, good natured. Firstly, because it reduces condensation in the kitchen. And secondly, because it cooks at a slightly higher temperature by reducing the heat inside, which is good for the veggies because they cook quicker. And thirdly, it stops it reducing. What you don't want is to reduce the liquid too much, because you've got stock in there with salt in, you've got salty cheese in terms of Stilton. If the liquid reduces too much, you might find it gets overly salty. Which isn't a problem, because if that happens, just add some more milk or add a little bit of water. Doesn't really matter. But that's what we've got lid on it. The next stage, we are going to be pureeing the soup. There are a variety of ways of doing that, depending on what equipment you're lucky enough to have. I shall be using that, which is brilliant. And we'll do it in seconds and create a really fine puree. You can use an ordinary food processor. You can use electric hand whisks. If it comes to it, if all you've got is a potato masher, you can use that. But it'll obviously need rather more elbow grease.
Or you can have it chunky, because some people like.
I wouldn't recommend that.
No, but you could do.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. You can have yours chunky if you like.
No, I like mine smooth, but I was thinking for those who don't have the equipment, they can have it chunky.
But you ain't got a masher. That's because you use a fork. Use a fork. So you get into even more elbow grease. Alternatively, you could put it through a colander, like for this. Another conical strainer, which would work very well. I don't suppose many people have those necessarily. Most people have one of those, and that will work. Ooh. Yeah, that'll work just as well. This is the other way to do it. Then you just have to do it in little batches. Obviously, you have your soup in there. Have a bowl, put that over the bowl, put a bit of the soup in there, squish it through with a spoon, back of a spoon, just squidge it through to get as much of the goodness out as you can. Every now and then you'll have to kind of scoop out the detritus that's left from the colander, or otherwise nothing will go through it. And that'll work just so well to get a nice smooth puree through. And ways and means, whatever your kitchen's got.
Oh my goodness, that smells amazing.
One for your Stilton lovers.
Ali, one for you, love.
So you can see the florets now are just kind of falling apart, which is great. Stalks are easily cooked. They just fall apart under the knife. It's cooking. What I want to do really is just cool that down a little bit. So you're not in any particular rush. Just let it sit on the cooker for half an hour to cool a little. I'm just going to stand in some cold water for a couple of minutes because you don't want to watch it cooling down. And I'm not sure I've got enough kind of repartee, gibberish, whatever else to fill out the gap.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm going to have a go, but I'm not sure everybody will want to hear it. There we go. Just sitting out in a bowl of cold water for a couple of minutes, it'll help.
I've had a message from Ali, just to say how she's watching it from her desk, and she says she's feeling really hungry and munching on cheese. So inspired. You've inspired us,
Brilliant.
and I'm regretting not forcing one of the kids to do it from home.
Oh, bless you.
You still can, it only takes 20 minutes, half an hour.
Yeah, you don't have all the chatting to go with it as well. That's the thing. Concentrate on it. Oh, I'm glad you're having cheese, Ali.
Yeah. Oh. Oh. Right, double cream isn't on your ingredients list because it's completely unnecessary. They're very nice.
But a bit indulgent.
Bit indulgent. If you happen to have some double cream, you can also add just a little splash to the mackerel pate. It's got a lovely velvety texture. So, I'm now going to transfer this to the liquidizer.
You've got a maximum of 1,000 ml for when it's hot. It says on there that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just to let you know, so it doesn't splurge out.
And it all just goes in here. Sprudge it all up. Get all the goodness out of the broccoli. Nothing wasted. I will do 2 batches. Candy involved me. Thankfully, I'll shut up for a bit because you won't keep me over the top of this anyway. There you go. A really nice, smooth texture to it. Do the rest. Leaving everything behind. Again, 15. Stir around together. At this point, check the seasoning. Salt.
Oh, you haven't got any salt.
See, to me, that doesn't need any salt. Stocking the Stilton together, giving it enough salt. But you can do with a good kick of black pepper. Yummy.
Guess what we're having for tea?
Double cream, and then just scramble up a little bit Stilton. So, there you go. Cream Stilton soup.
Yum, yum.
Fabulous winter warmer. And easy as pie. How long does that take to make those two?
45 minutes.
Oh, all right, slightly over the half hour. But still not bad from start to finish. Enjoy, give it a try. Yeah, I think we're done. So have a lovely Christmas, everybody. Stay safe. Enjoy whatever you're cooking. And I'll see you in the new year.
Thank you, Anita and Chris. I will definitely be trying this as a start over the Christmas period, although, as Anita said, I will be swapping the mackerel for probably for some salmon. So thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed the first of our Christmas Food Club sessions. Join us tomorrow for Claire's Christmas Pesto Starbread. This is actually already recorded and is available on our YouTube channel by typing in Banwell Parish Council and then going to our Christmas Food Club playlist, or I'll be attempting to share it on Facebook Live tomorrow from 4 p.m. So thank you very much for joining us and hopefully see you tomorrow.